Welcome to the Indian Newslink podcast series, Meditation for Mental Health.
Greetings from Indian Newslink. I'm Venkat Raman here. We welcome Swami Tadananda of the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre in Auckland. The last two episodes, we spoke about the need for the well-being of people and how the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre and Swami Tadananda have been engaged in this effort of creating better well-being among people. In the last episode, Swami Tadananda spoke about two very interesting aspects of how physical scientists explore space, whereas spiritual scientists like him try to help people to explore the inner space of self-realization, which is the pathway to better well-being, especially in mental health. Towards this end, the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre in Auckland is in the process of purchasing a vast piece of land in Rotorua to create an ideal environment for meditation and various other wellness activities. To learn a little more of this, we welcome Swami Tadananda once again to this podcast. Swamiji, welcome.
Thank you, Venkat Bhai. Namaste. Namaste to our listeners.
Yes, Swamiji, we were talking about how spiritual scientists are in the process of helping people to realize that true happiness lies in the inner soul, and how meditation and other pursuits help them to achieve their objective. And you also spoke a little bit about the Vedanta Center or the Meditation Center or the Wellness Center that's being established in Rotorua. Would you kindly explain a little more about this exciting project, what it entails, who are the people involved, and what we can expect from this center?
So just a little correction, Venkat Bhai. The place is not in Rotorua, but is in Waikato, in a place called Glen Murray.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I beg your pardon. Yeah. Waikato.
Yeah, in the Waikato Valley Road of Highway 22. It's about 80 minutes from where we are located right now in New Lynn in Auckland. Yes, we talked about this beautiful place that we're purchasing to be the platform from which this project will be launched. And since it is a project which requires quietness, silence, being in nature, we have intentionally bought this place which is away from the hustle, bustle and the noise of the cities now, and even it will be there for many years in the future. So with a lot of thought and searching, we have identified this place. And as mentioned, it's large space with a nice 50 acres of native forest around it. It's facing the north direction, sloping to that direction, so that we have this beautiful sun throughout the year, throughout the day. And it's in a very quiet setting. Actually, there's no artificial light of the city at night. You'll see there's no noise apart from the sounds of the birds. And the idea is that we disconnect from the outside world and its distractions and dive within ourselves and experience a little bit of that peace that we are seeking outside, but really is present within us. So when we go back to the world again, live in the midst of all the duties, responsibilities, we can still be able to enter in that space within us where the world cannot intrude, which cannot come and disturb us. That is the exercise of meditation, the gift it gives to a person. It doesn't say run away from the world, but let not the world affect us when we are in the midst of it. And that requires some training. And meditation is that technique of art, and the art, we call it more mind management techniques. How to manage our mind and emotions, how to be grounded in our own self, how to have that balance and poise. So the world can be whirling around in its madness, but we are not being affected by it. And I think that is the secret of living in the world. If the world knocks us every now and then that makes us miserable. So that is what resilience is. We cannot change the outside world, but we can make ourselves strong that the world cannot affect us or disturb us too much, so to say. So that is uh, the the general idea behind meditation. How we think that meditation would be a wonderful tool to empower people to have a greater control over their internal mind, so that the outside world they can discharge their duties and responsibilities and yet maintain that balance. And this knowledge has been there for thousands of years in so many cultures. It's just that we would like to now share it with anyone and everyone. So that property will be developed in time, over time, to be a place where people from anywhere in the world can come. It's not really very far, but if we had kept it very close to a city, then at some point it will become surrounded by all the noise and things and take the very charm and the essence of what we are trying to achieve. So, but it's worthwhile if you're going to come and stay with us a weekend or week. Then it's not too much of a drive, we think. And so when the project gets develops, we'll share all this information through our website, like who can come, when they come, how they can come, which programs they can join, and how there will be a follow-up, and keep on supporting them even after they have come and gone through the online training and the in-house training. So we were
It's a
talking.
residential campus, which means
It will be a residential campus with some very basic facilities. Here we don't want to create a luxurious thing. It is about having a simple life, but more not being grounded at the physical level. Simple food, simple routine, but living more in the mind, in the spirit. We
right.
need that quietness to be able to observe the mind within. The world is very, very distracting. So unless we get away from it, it will keep on pulling us out all the time. And we never get a taste of that wonderful peace that is available inside all of us. And that's why we want to create a space externally that will facilitate that inward journey, so that we get a taste of it, and then we want to establish ourselves in that through our regular practice and develop that strength and resilience, where there can be tremendous amount of commotion outside, but there's
Yeah.
the amount of peace within us. Okay.
The participation of people in this will be on payment basis, Swamiji?
Well, we'll see. We don't want to really make it. It won't be a commercial thing. There will be expenses there that will go towards, running and maintenance. If people are going to come and stay with us in a remote place, then there'll be costs for accommodation and food and all that. But it'll be very simple and basic, uh, so that it's not about making any profit. It's more about giving service to them, and it can come from people if they can afford it, or from other sources. Sponsors and other people can come and support those who are not in a position to afford this. But it will be very, very uh, not very high costs. I think we'll be able to manage, just like in our various services around in India, at a fraction of a cost compared to other organizations.
And the language of communication will be English.
Yes, the common language, I think here everyone understands English, but it's more of a language of the heart.
Yeah.
The English is the medium, so to say.
So, when will the first activities begin? What do you envisage how it will start?
Well, as I said, our first task is to raise some funds and
Yeah.
pay this off. We hope to do this by the end of May this year, and then move in, look at the infrastructure that is there, and work with architects and designers to see how we can modify that place and get the proper approvals from the council, so that we can convert that in for this particular purpose. That might take some time, because we all know these things just don't happen overnight. And so if we can say that we are able to achieve that in the next 5 6 months after May, then towards the end of the year we would be sort of ready to have the sort of first batches of people coming and staying, test the thing out. And so probably in right earnest, the programs would probably start early next year, hopefully,
Yeah.
where we are bringing people in there. But the online part of it, that can start much earlier because that's not dependent on any physical things. So we are already developing the site, the website, and at the right time we will share that with the communities people out there, and they can start joining and be interacting with us and complete the online part of it before they are ready to come for the actual practical experience, because without some preparation they will not benefit very much from the 7 days if they spend with us type of thing. So at this point, I think it might be interesting to share with our listeners, so like, who will be the people we expect to come there? Do
Yeah.
we expect anyone and everyone, I think? Or so we have a very strategic approach, Venkat Bhai, about who are the people that will join this training of trainers program. Individuals will also be able to come now and then wherever the slots are available. So there are 5 categories of people that we would like to work with or collaborate with as in partnership. And I have a nice way of explaining of our original target. The main target beneficiaries are the young people, uh, because at that time, uh, of course, they need their help, and you can hear from the statistics that are out there. It's very, very shocking that New Zealand, being a wonderful, beautiful, peaceful country, not many natural disasters or man-made disasters like wars and all those things, and yet we have a very high rate of suicides among our young people. I think it's the highest in the what is that, OBCE countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and we think we can work there. So if that is our target, um, people that we want to serve first, not help, but serve people, of course, we will not have direct contact with them. But there are 2 categories of people who are always with us. There are other parents at home or teachers at school. So our major focus should be working in partnership with these 2 categories. Imagine rivers coming from the mountains, streams, waters joining together and then meandering its way around into the ocean, supported by 2 embankments that work in unison to guide that water to the ocean. Likewise, if we say humanity starts with little children going through adolescence, through teenage, and becoming youth before they go out into the society, in that journey, visualize that these parents at home and teachers at school are the 2 embankments that are working to provide that guidance in the journey. So, if we use that visual type of analogy, then
Right.
we say, okay, how we can empower the parents and the teachers with this knowledge so that they can support the children, guide them, train them, make them strong and resilient. And if they do a good job between home and school, you'll find in a couple of generations we'll have that sorted out, because they will practice it, because it has helped them in their studies and maintaining their life as they go. They will practice it in their workplace. As parents, when they become parents, they will teach their children. And so there's a lot of potential for this project to become a really powerful, effective solution, not only to one family, one community, but the whole country or even globally, if we can um, take it to that level. But the potentiality of this approach is there. So what we do, what we are going to do is provide this knowledge. And to make it more accessible, we have started recording a series of podcasts which we call Rhythm for Parents. Another will come for Rhythm for Teachers. This will be just like conversations with teachers and parents, where we can share the knowledge relevant to them. And this will then again be put together in form of courses. So there's a structure and a system, how it's consumed. and interactiveness and actually practice of it, of meditation, where parents can sit down with their children daily and say, we'll as a family sit down and meditate for 5 minutes and 10 minutes, get them into the habit. And just like we sit down on dining table and eat food for the body, we'll have some food for the mind, food for the soul together at home. And at school, as our experience has shown in Fiji and the First Nations school in Brisbane, the teachers can utilize this simple guided meditation to train the children, become calm, become focused, pay attention, overcome this problem of ADHD, anxiety, and all that before they start teaching and creating the right teaching, learning mind space, so to say. And so these are our primary targets. Slowly that will spread, but we do not want to leave out people who are already grown up and out there in workplace, parents, workers, and all that. So our third partner that we want to work are corporates, business houses, employers. And we know that after COVID and all this crisis and hardships of life, the productivity level of workers has gone down. That's what all the employers are saying. It's not to blame the employees, it's just that life is so hard and they're struggling to maintain balance in their life. So it will pay for the employer to invest a little bit of time into providing that support to the employees in the space of mental well-being. And so our proposal is to work with such organizations who are ready to send to us their nominated wellness officers, to whom we will share this knowledge and the arts and the technique of training others. So they will be really going through the training of trainers program. It's one thing to practice something for yourself. It's another thing. It requires more skill to teach that to somebody else. And
Yeah.
we don't want it to be a theoretical thing that I've just learned it from some source and I'm delivering it without practicing it. It should come from the conviction of a personal experience, and that is why we feel that such people would be the ones who will be coming to the site. And when they, by the time they leave, we have made sure that they know the nuances of teaching people from in different stages of uh, uh, development, different age groups, different backgrounds, different cultures, respecting uh, them as they are and helping them rather than sort of imposing something. So these things have to be nicely taught to them, and then only we should. I would like them to go out and provide that service to them. So imagine a company sends one or two of their wellness officers, they go back to the company, they set up a program where rather than waiting people to get too stressed and seeking some help, they put together a proper place and facilities where everyone has access to that type of support and service, and meditation becomes a regular thing. In so many ways, it will be beneficial. Even if the productivity level goes up by 5%, 10%, it translates into a lot of profit for the people, for the
Right.
company.
Right.
So that itself is sufficient incentive, I think, for any employer uh,
Yeah. Right.
from purely financial point of view to invest the time in this. But imagine that if people, through meditation and concentration, sharpen their intelligence, so to say, we call it the spiritual intelligence or the buddhi, where they can bring out innovative solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Swamiji, we come to the end of the podcast time.
Mhm.
So we've covered a lot of ground today on the proposed wellness center and the ideas and how we can help people and support their well-being. And I'm hoping to have more from you in the next episode. So, with that, Swamiji, we conclude this podcast and we thank you immensely for spending so much time with us in explaining the activities of the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre. And we look forward to the next podcast with you. Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, Venkat Bhai. I think for the benefit of our listeners, we can just say that we are going to continue the discussion where we're ending Today we
Yeah.
talked about 2 or 3 beneficiaries, the parents and the teachers in business houses. The other 2 we didn't get the time today to do. We'll take that in the next episode. And those are people working in the health sector.
Yes,
As a
certainly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the last category that we want to work are people in the communities, the community leaders, the Kaumatvas. So we'll spend some time to share our vision how they can join us and take this knowledge
Sure.
to their people. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Swamiji. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we look forward to the next podcast with you.
Sure. Welcome.
Many thanks, Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Indian Newsling podcast series Meditation for Mental Health.